Silvers Rayleigh, the Dark King, right hand of the Pirate King, mentor to Lofi. One of the most legendary figures in One Piece history, and also a loving husband to Shakky, a former empress of Amazon Lily. But what if I told you he's also father? The clues are in plain sight, some even right in your face, yet nobody made a video about this. So I'll be the one to say it. And no, it's not Mihawk. That theory has been floating around for years, and let's be honest, it's trash. Sure, they're both swordsmen, sure he has a similar beard to Rayleigh and the hair somewhat similar to Shakky's hair, but timeline wise this doesn't make sense at all, and there really aren't any more clues than that, and therefore this theory is pure trash. Rayleigh and Shakky's real child is actually Boa Hancock, the current pirate empress. What? But what about her sisters? They don't look anything alike Rayleigh or Shakky, right? Let me explain the situation, then hit you with all the proof I found. On Amazon Lily, all children are born as girls. And yeah, that does work without fathers. It's been mentioned that Kuja pirates during their visits to other islands fall in love with men, have children and send the girls back to Amazon Lily to grow up. They're raised to be strong, independent women without any male influence. That means no girl in Amazon Lily grows up with her actual parents. So Hancock, Marigold and Sandersonia, they're definitely not blood related. I mean, they have different hair colors, different body shapes, complete different facial features, so they're obviously not real sisters. They are most likely like Ace, Sabo and Luffy, Sake's sisters, which makes for a nice parallel if Hancock and Luffy end up together someday. After Marineford, Rayleigh just appeared, out of nowhere, swimming to Amazon Lily. No ship, no crew, just casually swimming through the calm belt like it's a backyard pool. Casually aura farming. And what's even crazier, he was allowed to be there. Not just allowed, he trained Luffy on the island. At that point, Luffy was the only man ever granted permission to stop foot on Amazon Lily. So why was Rayleigh given a free pass? The official reasoning is that Rayleigh helped save Hancock and her sisters after they escaped slavery in Mary Jo's, alongside Gloriosa and Shakky. But here's the thing, Law and Jinbei also saved Luffy, Hancock's beloved man. They literally rescued the man she loves. Yet, they're not allowed anywhere near the island. So what makes Rayleigh different? Additionally, in that exact scene, the dynamic between Hancock and Rayleigh is oddly parental. Hancock never calls him dad or anything like that, but the way she speaks to him, the comfort, the respect, the familiarity, it feels like more than just rescuer and rescued. It feels like family. And if Rayleigh really is her father, that would explain why the Kuja tribe breaks their most sacred rule for him. Because he's not just the man, he's the father of the pirate empress. But to understand why that bond runs so deep, why Hancock would trust him with Luffy, her heart, her island, we need to go back to the moment everything changed. Boa Hancock and her sisters were kidnapped while sailing, ambushed and enslaved by the world nobles. They were just kids, and Celestial dragons did unspeakable things to them. It wasn't until Fisher Tiger, the absolute legend, climbed the red line and freed every single slave in Mary Jo's that they escaped. On their way out, Rayleigh, Shakky and Gloriosa found the girls and brought them safely back to Amazon Lily. Now, pause for a second. Imagine you are Rayleigh. Just imagine that. Your child, your daughter, gets kidnapped. She's tortured, branded and enslaved. You weren't there to protect her. Sure, you helped to save her later, but that guilt, that haunting regret, it never leaves you. So how do you process that kind of trauma? You try to make it right. You dedicate yourself to freeing others, and then we see Rayleigh's first appearance in the story in Sabaody, not on a ship, not in a bar, in a slave auction house. My guy was literally chilling in a slave house, not because he was called, but because he wanted to be there. He was rescuing people like Kami. It was said he was captured, but come on. You don't just catch the right-hand man of the Pirate King. Rayleigh let himself be caught because he was on a mission, a personal one, to save other innocent girls like Boa so that what happened to his daughter would never happen again to someone else. And years later, it almost happened again. Let's get to one of my strongest proofs I have. After the Blackbeard incident, everything changed. Blackbeard invaded Amazon Lily during the chaos of the Reverie Fallout, aiming to steal Boa Hancock's love fruit. Why did he try to steal the fruit? For now we don't know that, but I got some theories about that in the locker, so leave a like if you wanna see this as well. The Marines, including Seraphims and Kobe, were already there and the island was under siege. Hancock was cornered by both the Navy and the Yonko. And then out of nowhere Rayleigh arrives, not just to negotiate but to save her. And then we get that manga panel. Hancock, the Pirate Empress, resting her head on Rayleigh's lap. That's not just gratitude, that's intimacy. That's something you do with someone you trust deeply, someone like a father. Let's ask the obvious question. Why was Rayleigh even there in the first place? He's not a Marine, he's not a Yonko, he's retired. Yet he shows up to protect Hancock personally. That's not just loyalty, that's family business. But the panel doesn't stop there. It also reveals that Shakky, Rayleigh's partner, is a former Empress of Amazon Lily. That instantly establishes a direct connection between Shakky and Hancock, former Empress and current Empress. And when you look at the full panel, it starts to feel like something else entirely. A family portrait. On one side you have got Gloriosa and Marigold. And yes, Marigold is most likely Gloriosa's daughter. Why? Because Oda doesn't differentiate the important women by facial features, as you know, but he does it with hairstyles. And Gloriosa and Marigold share a nearly identical hairstyle and their face even match. Timeline wise, it fits perfectly. On the other side you've got Shakky, Rayleigh and Boa Hancock resting her head on his lap like a daughter would. And the following confirms it for me. Sandersonia, Hancock's other not blood related sister, is intentionally hidden behind a speech bubble. Oda could have placed that bubble anywhere, but he chose to block her face on purpose because this panel isn't about the Gorgon sisters, it's about the real family. And that brings us to Conquerors haki. Conquerors haki, the rarest kind of haki in the world. You don't train for it, you don't unlock it through discipline or technique, you're born with it. It's not about strength, it's about presence. It's about having a spirit so overwhelming, so dominant that it forces others to submit without a single touch. Only 1 in several million people are capable of using it. That's how rare it is. And yet, when you look at the people who have it, there's a pattern. It runs in families, it runs in blood. Kaido had it, and his daughter Yamato inherited it. Goldie Roger has it, and his son Ace. Garp has it, and his grandson Luffy has it. Big Mom has it as well, and Katakuri does too. Even if the other 84 kids didn't show any signs of it. The potential clearly exists. But it's not just about genetics, you also have to be born with the will to conquer. That inner drive to rise above everyone else. And there's Boa Hancock, she has Conquerors haki, she has the pride, the strength, the aura. And there's Rayleigh, the Dark King, the man who stood beside Goldie Roger, the man who trained Luffy, he has Conquerors haki too. This is another connection that makes sense if they were a family, that both of them have and use Supreme King haki. And speaking of wild connections, let's get to the next clue. Buggy has this weird magic ability like Usopp to accidentally predict the future. He says wild stuff, half as a joke, half out of panic, and then it actually happened. He said he would become a Yonko. Boom, he's a Yonko. He said he would be a legend. Boom, he's on the same tier as Shanks in the public eye. And during Marineford, when Rayleigh's name came up, Buggy called him Luffy's uncle. Now obviously that wasn't confirmed, but knowing Buggy's track record, maybe he wasn't entirely wrong. Because here's the thing, if Boa Hancock ends up marrying Luffy, Rayleigh wouldn't just be the man who trained him, he would become Luffy's father-in-law. That's a full circle moment, from uncle to actual family. And when you look at the post-Marineford scene, Luffy recovering Amazon Lily, Rayleigh standing there watching over him and seeing Boa Hancock by his side just looks like family already. Buggy might have been joking, but like always he might have been right. If you watch until this point, leave a like and let me know your opinion on the theory. I would like to have a place to discuss theories on this channel, so don't be scared. So now 2 of my last 3 proofs for this theory will be using information directly from the latest chapters, so spoiler warning, and I will let you know about which chapters I'm talking about, but if you're not up to date, you should skip to the last proof, which is also a really crazy one. So let's go! This one is pretty straightforward. If you read one of the latest chapters in Elbaf, you know that Gaban has a kid, Colon. Roger also has a child, or had a child, Ace. So what about Rayleigh? It only makes sense. The captain and the left-hand man both passed on their legacy. Rayleigh, the right-hand man, the Dark King, why wouldn't he? Everything else lines up. All 3 were core members of the Roger Pirates. All 3 had Conquerors haki, all 3 had a significant other, and lastly, all 3 helped shape the next generation. They saw something on Love Tale, something that made them step back and prepare the world for what's coming. Roger entrusted Ace Gabon entrusted Colon, Rayleigh trained Lofi, and maybe he entrusted someone else too. There's a subtle moment in Owen's flashback when Roger's holding baby Hiyori smiling. Roger looks and says, "It's been a while since we held babies, huh?" At first glance it feels like a nostalgic throwaway line. Maybe they were talking about Buggy or Shanks, but timeline wise, there's another possibility. Boa Hancock was born 5 years before that scene, so it fits. Rayleigh could have been talking about her, and if that's true, if Hancock is Rayleigh's daughter, then everything clicks. In the latest chapter, 1156, during the flashback of King Harold and Loki, we get a glimpse into the era when Roger was still a rookie. It's a wild moment, Roger clashing with Gorb, but also making a detour to Amazon Lily. Roger didn't go there to see Gloriosa, he went to see Shakky, and was simping out of his mind. The memes went completely crazy after that. And in that scene, the focus shifts. Gloriosa, former empress, powerful in her own right, is barely acknowledged, because Shakky stole the spotlight. She was young, stunning, magnetic, long luscious black hair, eyes that could stop a room. Even Roger and Gabon were blushing like schoolboys. But Shakky wasn't interested in attention. She didn't care for men falling over her. She only had eyes for one person, and this was Rayleigh. The calm one, the one who didn't simp. And that moment, it felt like deja vu, because Shakky in her youth looked strikingly similar to Boa Hancock. Same hair, same aura, same beauty that makes people freeze. And it's not just visual, it's thematic. Both were empresses, both were admired but emotionally guarded. Both fell for a man who didn't chase them, who simply stood strong. Rayleigh and Lofi. The parallels are too clean to ignore, and if Shakky is Hancock's mother, then Rayleigh being her partner makes everything fall into place. Oda loves to play with names and numbers. It's one of his signature storytelling quirks. Layered meanings, hidden references, and clever nods. Some classic examples would be the Sonny's fridge code is 7326 based on the syllables of Nami, Sanji, and Robin and their birthdays. East Blue Arc ends perfectly at chapter 100, a clean narrative milestone. Yonko bounty numbers often reflect symbolic patterns, like Luffy's bounty ending in 5-6, meaning Gomu, referencing his rubber powers. All of the princes having flower as names, and also a lot of the relevant characters in Amazon Lily as well. But now here's where it gets fun with Boa Hancock. There's a real-world company called Hancock known for producing rubber materials. And historically, Thomas Hancock was the inventor of the British rubber industry. So Boa Hancock falling for Luffy, the rubber man, might not be a coincidence. It's Oda doing what he does best, hiding meaning in plain sight. You probably heard that already, but there's more. The name Boa? It's also the acronym for Bank of America, a major institution that deals in gold and silver commodities. The name Boa Hancock and silver is already tied here as well. So this was my video. Obviously the last one is a little bit of a reach, but it's funny that it fits so perfectly. However, if you enjoyed that video, please leave a subscription and a like down below, and also comment your thoughts about this theory and also other theories as well. I will be reading everything. See you next time for the next theory.